you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank Senator Toomey for his wonderful leadership on this committee, just in the event this is our last hearing. Thank you for your service.
Hearing tomorrow.
We're conflating topics today. Digital assets are not on trial. Fraud and organizations are on trial. So let's separate digital assets from corrupt organizations. FTX, as I've been saying for the last few weeks, is good old-fashioned fraud. And what they did is separate from digital assets. Now, we've all heard that FTX lent its executives hundreds of millions of dollars in commingled customer funds for personal use, and customers who tried to wire money to FTX were instead given Alameda's routing number. That is fraud. That's fraud whether it's conducted in US dollars or euros or digital assets. That is fraud. Additionally, even though FTX was a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, it had a shocking lack of corporate controls and enabled affiliates to conceal the movement of money and take on enormous liabilities, enabling the misuse, well, they misused customer assets that were supposed to be appropriately safeguarded. FTX, in its terms of service, said, title to customer digital assets always remain with the customer. Now that we know is a lie, and now millions of FTX customers around the world will suffer. So FTX is a failure of people, safeguards, and regulation. It's not a failure of technology. The people of the digital asset industry need to get really serious about risk management and compliance with things like anti-money laundering laws, and that's why we've seen a failure of a number of firms engaged in riskier practices, even for the digital markets this year. So one question people should ask themselves is how FTX grew so quickly. They were founded in 2019 and grew to be one of the largest digital asset exchanges in just 2 years. So you look at other companies like Kraken, Coinbase, and Bitstamp, they've been around for a decade. They've grown organically. This committee needs to be focused on putting legislative solutions in place that would have prevented FTX's collapse and other firms like it. This means things like regulation of digital asset trading, providing consumers with adequate bankruptcy protection, disclosures, and stablecoin regulation. So let's not conflate topics here. Mismanagement, failure of people, inadequate controls is what's on trial. We need to regulate this business and lay digital assets on top of our existing financial regulatory framework. Questions? Ms. Schulp, why do digital assets and distributed ledger technology have the power to make our capital markets safer and more efficient?
Well, there's multiple ways that they can do that, and one of them is by removing the intermediaries that we've been talking about, where there are potential for such things as an FTX to take customer assets and misuse them. When those intermediaries don't exist in digital asset systems, then you don't have the same risks. You can also have faster, cheaper payment systems than we currently have, and more global payment systems which allow people to send money cross-border in a way that should be very important for a country like the United States, which sends a lot of remittances across the world.
I know I'm out of time, but I want to make a plug for the Responsible Financial Innovation Act that Senator Gillibrand and I have co-sponsored, that we've been talking to our colleagues about. This is a case study in why we need the Responsible Financial Innovation Act. We will be reintroducing the bill next year We're absolutely delighted and willing to take your comments, suggestions, ideas, and it's time to move. Time to move to regulate the digital asset industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator
Mr.
Lummis.
Chair.